ones and the foes, the butlers and the heroes. You can feel it in your soul when the ring is the goal. But if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing. Like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes. Going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off.
Yes, sir. The basement is live once again, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've been dying to see our beautiful faces. We are here. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, with the second installment of the Basement Crew. We got some familiar faces, and we also got some new faces in the building as well. If you don't already know, it's your boy Threat. On the top over there, we got your boy Adam Borai. We have the beautiful Jess and a new face y'all might not be familiar with. Some of y'all might know. We got my boy Anthony, aka Ann, in the building. We're gonna go through some discussions. And I don't know if you want to give yourself a little intro to the people who don't already know you. Go ahead and speak your piece, my brother.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that you killed that intro. I know you was a little nervous, but you made Royal proud, bro.
Yeah, no. He was not nervous.
Never nervous. Never nervous.
We're nervous.
Hey, either way, you made Royal proud, man. That was dope. But yeah, man, my first stream, so I'm hyped. I'm excited, ready to talk some basketball. Like he said, my name is Ant. I guess they found me through my YouTube. I be posting Heat content, but now y'all can find me on the basement too. So I'm excited to get into it.
Man, we got a lot to get into. We also got some special, groundbreaking type of stuff that everybody else ain't doing. I'm just saying, we'll get to that in a few. But first, I just want to throw out some off-season talk or maybe current player talk. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my boy Adam, man. Can we get into some current Heat player expectations on the season? We got some people who some of us have high hopes for, and some of us got low hopes for.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's there's nothing else to talk about because the offseason is pretty much dead. So we have to find new things to discuss. And I mean, the roster's already set at 14 players. If we're assuming that they don't make any changes from here on out till the season starts, which I don't expect, but let's just, for the sake of this show, assume that they're not making any changes. What do we expect out of the players that we have at the current moment? So I think I want to start with Bam, and I think it's a pretty fair assumption that we think there's another gear to his game that he's going to take. He's just turned 25 years old. We know that the talk has been about his motor, his bag, whether or not he's better than Pascal Siakam. That's been the talk over the last few weeks. But let's actually discuss what we actually plan or might see from Bam this upcoming year and how that'll translate to the game and to wins for the Miami Heat. Jess, if you want to get us started with Bam, because we know you love your big men, so please enlighten us about Bam, what you expect, what you think, or what you need from Bam this season.
I mean, I think I sound like a broken record because everyone's kind of on the same tip about, we've been saying over and over, we want to see him be aggressive. I think he has so much potential. I think he's super young, like you just said. It's like, I really don't think his ceiling is reached, which I know some people have expressed that also. But I don't know what it takes to get in his head enough for him to be like, all right, I got to take over. And we've seen it. So we know he's capable of it, but something is keeping him from doing it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's not, setting up enough plays for him to score. I don't know if it's just him nervous and getting in his head. I really don't know what it is. But I think if we start to, make the offense around him a little bit more, I think we'll see him start to take over in games like we've seen. I'm again cautiously optimistic, like I always am. I think it's about getting him in the right place and getting him in the right playmaking and the right offense for him to be able to score and be able to make a difference in the games. We can't have these like 8-point games from him, even though he's helping us with rebounding. Like that guy is a scorer, and we've seen him do it. So I don't know. It's going to have to be some offensive changes. It's going to have to be some pick and roll. I think he's got to work on his mid-range a little bit because it's there. It's not there, but it's there. There's a framework there. So, I'm not losing hope on him. I hope we don't lose him in any of these trade scenarios. I really think that he's a huge building block for us. So I'm staying optimistic.
Yeah, I'm with you, and you bring up an interesting point. I don't know if it's in his head or if this is something from management, from the team itself. Is it Spo that's stopping him or making sure that he's not taking a certain amount of shots per game? Or what if he does actually want to shoot threes, but Spo and Pat are the ones that are holding him back from doing so? So I'm curious, do you think it's more of being in his head, or do you think this is something from the team stopping him?
I hate to say it, I think it's more him. I can't speak for, the front office and for the coach, but I feel like this is my gut telling me. I feel like they've told him, take over and do what you need to do, like they've told to Jimmy, but Jimmy ends up being the one having to do that, right? I think they've said similar things to Tyler, and he, again, inconsistent, show up one game, don't show up the next game, back and forth. So it's like, I don't necessarily think that they're holding him back from doing it. I think a lot of it is him. Maybe he hasn't gotten the green light to go and shoot corner threes. If he could be, a 3-and-D guy, like that would be great, but I don't know how much he's working on it or how confident he is taking a shot like that in the game. And again, we'll never know. We'll just be guessing here if he has permission to do so or not. But I don't think they're really holding him back. I think it's more him. I think, again, when we see him in his zone in some of those games, he's scoring, he's playing defense, he's taking shots, he's getting to the rim. Like we know he's capable of all that, but it's like, how are we going to get him to do that consistently? So that's what I want to see.
Yeah, and I think I'm with you. It's more on his in his head. I think Spo gives him the reign to do whatever he wants, and this season especially is a huge season for him to show that it's literally just in his head and that he can break free of that mold. I know a lot of people say he has that Draymond Green mentality, but I disagree. At 25 years old, this is the start of his ascension. We haven't even gotten to his prime yet. So I think just him being so young and so moldable of a player, this is the first year where I think we're going to see the evolution of what the final form of Bam Adebayo is.
I hope so, and I think so too. But what I was saying the other day is he's young, but for us, we're going on a few years now of like, Bam, be aggressive. Bam, we need you to score. We need you to this, that, and it's like, yeah, I tweeted this the other day. You can do it for so long with kids right out of college who are entering a whole different space. But it's like, how long do we have to stay on his ass to get him to do what he needs to do? And I think this is kind of his last chance to show up and show us if he can be consistent, if he can be that guy that we can rely on. So,
yeah. No, I agree. But let's move away from Bam now. I'm not going to give you Tyler threat, but I'm going to give Ant Tyler because I already know what your thoughts are. Actually, your thoughts have been flip-flopping. I'm not going to lie. You were a Tyler supporter, then you were a hater. I don't know where you are now, but we're not going to find out. We're going to go to Ant. We'll talk about Tyler and what you expect from Tyler Hero this season if he's still on the roster. Give us your expectation.
That's
how many
a big
points,
if, Adam.
whatever you want.
Best case scenario, he's not on the roster. You know what I'm saying? But nothing against Tyler. We just know if he's not on the roster, what that most likely means. But I actually like what Jess said about Bam. She said cautiously optimistic. And the reason being is the age. This man is 22 years old. Do y'all remember what y'all was doing when you were 22 years old? Think about what you was doing, and now put yourself in the NBA like that and how much your life has changed and how much you've gotten better since then. Because I'm not going to lie, it's frustrating on Heat Twitter seeing people freaking out, acting like Tyler's a scrub, Bam's a scrub. Anytime these dudes make a mistake, like they're still literally kids. Well, Bam is older than me. Tyler's not. But either way, they still literally kids, bro. Like that's why I know I don't want to get into the whole run it back thing, but God forbid they run it back and they don't land a whale. You still have plenty of room for internal improvement from the guys on this team, like Bam and Tyler. And yeah, it's not as simple as saying they were one shot away. But if you want to do that, they were one shot away. And imagine if you get the guys back healthy and the internal improvement from specifically Tyler and Bam. And to me, the thing you want to look at when you talk about improvement is the confidence. And Tyler, that is the one thing that he does not lack. And this man was scoring over 20 points a game at 22 years old. That goes a long way. That really does go a long way. And when you see the kind of confidence he has and the swagger that he brings to the Miami Heat, I think it's going to go a long way in his improvement if he's here, which big if, like I said.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I think You know what? I want to go through. I want to hear your thoughts on Tyler and this upcoming season. I can't help it. I want to know.
You know what? As a former stakeholder in the Tyler Hero Stan Club, I'm really on edge about Tyler. I don't know how I feel anymore. Because I'm getting two different type of Tyler Heroes, and I don't know if I like that. You know, you got regular season Tyler Hero who cooks shit up, and we saw his growth and development turn into 6 Man of the Year, gave us really solid numbers. And then we saw playoff Tyler Hero, but we're not going to sit here and act like this is the first time we're seeing Tyler Hero struggle in the playoffs. If you go back and look at it, in the last 5 playoff series that Tyler Hero's played in, he struggled. Dating back to the NBA Finals bubble, he struggled from that series on end. And we seen him, people make up the excuses. He was hurt here, he was hurt there. Bro, he didn't get hurt till later in the playoff run, bro. He started off that playoff run healthy. So a lot of the excuses, bro, I'm not trying to hear it. I have high expectations, and when people don't meet that, you know, I gotta lower it. So Tyler Hero, I'm expecting more or less the same. I know a lot of people feel like he could give us Donovan Mitchell type production, maybe score 24 points per game in a regular season if we give him the keys to the whip. But if you want to see your whip get crashed, that's a perfect recipe if you want to see that. So Tyler Hero, I'm kind of indifferent on him. I'm high. It just depends on the day. You're gonna have to ask me the same question again tomorrow, and I might have a totally different answer for you.
Bro, this man really got on Tyler Hero for being for being okay in the NBA Finals when Mans was like 19, bro. He was a kid, bro.
Yeah, he was definitely a kid, but I'm just stating facts. We saw 37 points per game in a big game, and then we saw him kind of shrink. Well, not per game. We saw 37 in a game. My bad. We saw 37 in a game, and then we seen him get bitched by LeBron and get shoved into the first row of a no crowd. Well, I'm just saying it looked crazy. It looked crazy, and ever since then, that's been his playoff downfall. I'm just spitting facts.
All right. Well, I'm with you. I don't think he's a playoff player yet. I think he can be, but it won't be anytime soon. And I think that's the difference between us Heat fans and a lot of other Heat fans. Some Heat fans think he can't get there at all, and that, you know, this who we see Tyler be now at 22 years old is who he's going to be at 28, 29, 30 years old. I think I can speak for everyone where we don't believe that's the case. The issue is when you have Jimmy, when you have Bam, when you have these older Kyle, when you have these players on the roster, what Tyler provides isn't what we need right now. We need more than, you know, that microwave scorer that won 6 Man of the Year in the regular season. We need a big time scorer in the playoffs. Tyler didn't provide that. I don't think he will next season. I think he could in 5 or 6 years, just not this upcoming season. Jess, what do you think?
I'm kind of with you. And look, I'm kind of with Anthony too. And I think since we just talked about the two of them, kind of put them in contrast. I think Bam's real problem is lacking the confidence and Tyler's isn't. And then you have two guys that have, you know, some raw talent, but that makes a huge difference. I mean, I think people forget like how psychological the game of basketball is. You look at, you know, a head case like Ben Simmons, where you're like, a lot of, you know, for a while we were thinking this guy is going to be, you know, unbelievable. And it's like, look what getting in your head can do to a player. I'm not saying there weren't real injuries, but it's like, you know, that kind of is what make or breaks guys out of college and in the league, even if they've been in a few years or not. It's like, can you show up, you know? And I think that's the problem we're having. I totally agree that, you know, Tyler didn't show up. I think, you know, we got there with not having an exceptional team. You know, we almost got, again, I know no one wants to hear that again. We're a few shots away, or maybe that one shot away, you know? So if we have someone, I think, that can perform consistently in the playoffs, and we're not putting the pressure on Jimmy to score 40-something points a game, like, I think we got it. Do I think we got it with this roster right now? I don't, because I don't think any of these guys have stepped up and shown us we can carry this team through the playoffs, or at least show up. You know, we're not asking anybody, hey, we need you to drop 30 a night, but we need to have 6-7 guys that'll drop double figures at a minimum, rebound, be well-rounded players. That's the only way you get through the playoffs. And that's not even considering like how much better some of these teams have just gotten now in this offseason. So it's going to be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess since we're talking about Tyler, now would be the time to drop it. I know there's been a lot of talk about whether the organization itself feels highly of Tyler or not. Would they give him the max or whatever the contract is, and a giant extension? We're not going to bore you over with the extension and what it means and why I think they shouldn't give it to him and what, that sort of thing. But the organization, I think, is very split on Tyler, not because of what he provides on the court. I think everyone knows what he is and what he can be. I think the issue is off the court. Getting his mind right, getting his mind and body, to be all in on the court for the Heat all the time. I think that is where there is a little bit of hesitancy to give him that max offer sheet or that max extension. I think ultimately they do give him that max extension because, when you're over the cap, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. $25 million to $30 million, not that big of a difference for a guy like Tyler Hero. But look, I think that's where the hesitancy comes from, on top of, his ceiling as a player. And that's why, if you combine those two together, that's why he's in trade talks for guys like Donovan.
Yeah. Look, and I'll say this too. I mean, we got to give the guy, you got to cut him a little bit of slack, right? To an extent. Like we keep saying, he's super young, but it's like, we don't want to hear, we all know what's going on in his personal life and we shouldn't know any of that. You know what I mean? Like basketball is basketball, like take care of business. I understand that these people are human beings too, but you could tell that his sole focus is not basketball. And if we want to be like championship contenders, you got to make a sacrifice every once in a while, not go act a fool, not go do whatever he's doing, like if we would be able to tell if his mind was all in on this. And, I'll say this last thing, that 6th Man of the Year award doesn't get handed to people, right? So I don't think we should discredit him on that. What the real conversation has been is how much do other teams value that award and what do they really value him at and what do we value him at? And so, I think just now we're coming off a really sad end to the season for a lot of us. And, people are feeling like, recency bias. Hey, this guy just played like crap, so he's no good. Like he didn't show up, this, that. But, I feel confident in the fact that I don't think we would have been there without the way he played in the regular season. So it's just this balance.
Let me just jump in real quick and give a major shout out to some of the guys from the basement crew in the comment section supporting. Shout out to Kendale Royal, General Attias. We see all of you guys. And shout out to the basement fans, Gavin and the rest of those crew. Chino, we see you guys, and we really appreciate the support. And I kind of wanted to segue away from the Tyler Hero talk just to bring up another guy because I seen an interesting poll going around on Twitter today, and it was a poll talking about who would you rather see in the starting lineup out of Victor Oladipo and Tyler Hero.
Oh, stupid.
I feel like it was a stupid poll, but for some reason the poll was a lot closer than what people what I thought should have been, because I saw 52% for Tyler Hero and 49% or 48% for Victor Oladipo. I'm not sure if people are low on Tyler Hero right now or are people high on Victor Oladipo. And what's your thoughts on that? And what's some of your expectations for him? You're on mute, by the way, Ant.
Oh, you already screwed up.
I'm testing y'all.
First day.
Shouting out people. Am I allowed to shout out this man? I think this is George. So not only did he say I have a bad beard, but this man said that I'm stealing too. That ain't cool, man. That ain't cool, George. I'm working on it. I got a barber next week, man. Lay off. Anyways, to your question, man. I guess it depends what you want. Obviously, you want the offense or defense, but just when you consider the other guys in the starting lineup, you obviously got to go Tyler. We saw a lot of Depot and Jimmy minutes last year. There was some standing in the corner, whether it was either Depot just kind of standing there and not too much movement. So obviously, I'm going to pick Tyler just because you need to get Jimmy that help scoring. I mean, unless Bam wants to realize that he's him, then maybe you don't need as much scoring. But if he's not yet, then I like Tyler in there, especially since we saw Tyler run the point a little bit last year, and that shit was not good. It was not pretty. So at least if you have him starting next to Lowry, then you can have Lowry facilitate the offense and just kind of have Hero there to do what he needs to do. So for me, the answer is easy. Go ahead and have Tyler in the starting lineup, then have Gabe and Vic off the bench. And that's a pretty dynamic backcourt duo right there.
Also, I wanted to give a shout out to the first lady of the basement, low key. Shout out to Heather, getting people to encourage liking the video, which a lot of y'all motherfuckers need to do. Get on that like button, please.
Just thought you were talking about her for a second, and then you skipped out there and disappointed her.
That's all, Heather.
But now I wanted to also throw this question to you, Jess. What are some of your expectations for Victor Oladipo this season? Maybe production wise.
I think it all depends on the position that he's put in. You know, based on your last question too, is this guy going to get a starting role or is he not? Or was that just some hypothetical, poll on Twitter? But we really don't know. And I think you saw some shining moments. And I don't want to piss anybody off, but I even felt that way about like Caleb. I was like, damn, this guy's good some nights. And then I was like, damn, he's not doing shit. So it's like, I really don't know what to expect. I mean, I feel for Depot on a personal level. I would love to see that comeback, that redemption story. Like I really would. I think he has the raw talent and I think it would just be really nice to see. But I think this season's also going to be figuring out, is he going to be an asset on this team or is he not? I'd like to see him be put in positions to set him up for success and see how he does, because I think he has it in him, but I'm not sure what to expect. Again, we saw some really great games down the road last year that made me, optimistic, but it's like, how do we know he doesn't get in? And again, I think his thing's a little bit of a confidence thing too. And that happens coming off injuries also. You just never know. So I think once he gets that confidence back up, I think once he plays enough minutes and they actually have him in the game long enough to like start heating up, I think we'll be able to see him, produce some numbers.
All right. Well, I think we're at the 21-minute mark. I think this is a good point to bring up a few things. Number one, we are a brand new network. So if you do want to sponsor us, message us, DM us, email us, talk to anyone here. We will provide an ad packet for you. We will build a package that's right for you. We're looking for sponsors for the entire season. We're doing Dolphins, maybe some Canes, Heat, and we're going to expand more off that. So please make sure you message one of us and we'll talk to you about what we can do and what we can do for your business. Aside from that, we made an announcement today. We have just added a brand new feature to our streaming shows, and that's a call-in feature. And that right there, oh my God, perfect. Thank you, Justin. Justin, by the way, Justin's our producer for tonight's show. He had this whole thing set up. He did all of this with me over the past few days. Justin, we appreciate you. If you want to call into the show, we're going to be starting a segment. We'll be doing it for most shows, most post-game shows, most shows throughout the week. Give us a call. The number is right there. You see it right in front of you. Give us a call. We'll take your call right now. We'll answer a few calls for a segment of the show, and then we're going to continue on. I think we're only going to be going for about 40, 50 minutes. I know Jess has a heart out in about 5 minutes. So we're going to take some calls right now. Nobody say anything weird. Please don't do that. We don't want to get demonetized. And we'll take it from there. Threat?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be some weirdos calling in. I need y'all to please keep it PG-13 at the most. You feel me? And I know a lot of y'all are gonna be calling in at the same time. We're gonna try to get to as many people as possible. Please be patient with us. It's a trial and error run, so you know how that goes. So we're gonna see some of y'all takes, and if y'all takes is trash. Now, y'all know I'm up here for a reason. I will hibachi grill yo ass. I will fish fillet you. So you better come up here with some good takes.
And with that, we have our very first caller. We have our very first caller. It's Santiago from Broward. Santiago, can you hear us? It's working.
You're live.
Yes, hello?
Yes, Santiago, can you hear us?
Santiago.
But I can hear you guys.
Perfect. There is a beeping. I don't know who that's coming from.
It's an incoming call. I declined it. We're good.
Okay. Okay, Santiago, what's your question?
Not really a question. Just wanted to talk about, I guess, you guys specifically. Shout out to Anthony. He basically put me on you guys, the basement. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out because I just hopped in maybe a couple minutes ago and everything seems legit. It's very interesting. I'm definitely going to support and subscribe and drop the like for you guys. So shout out to Anthony. Shout out to, I'm not too familiar with you guys. So just top left, I didn't know you were working out. I see your traps, good traps you got. Bottom right, I like the hair, my guy. I'm trying to get my hair long like you. Shout out to the girl. She knows what she's talking about. Nice hair, nice glasses. So I like the squad. I'm definitely gonna subscribe to you guys. And yeah, peace.
We definitely appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the kind words. Thank you for subscribing. That was the first call. And I'm scared to see some of these next calls because I see some people in the comments being thirsty. Brother, stand up. Stand up. I see people just want to call in just to say hi to Jess. Brother, get a grip.
Call in. The line's open, y'all. Call in.
Let's see. Do we got another call on the line right now?
We don't. Or maybe we do. I don't know.
Do we now?
And do we? And you're muted. You're on mute. You know what? We'll continue the conversation.
Yeah, we'll just continue a conversation.
While we're waiting for the next call, what do you got for us, Threat?
Yeah, so I also wanted to get into the team as it stands, as constructed right now. So I guess with no moves or nothing going on, what are some of your regular season expectations for the guys?
Honestly, I expect more of the same statistical-wise from everybody but Bam. I think Bam is the one that's going to take that extra leap. I think he averaged, 19 points a game or 18 points a game this last year. I think he ups that to 23, 24 this upcoming season, mostly because I think he starts shooting three-pointers finally. I know it's been how many years? This is his 5th year, 6th year? And we've been begging every single year for him to start shooting threes. I think this is finally the year that we're going to do it. And with that, I'm getting the signal from Ant that we're getting another call. Ali, please don't let it be the Ali that I think it is.
Oh, God. Ali, please, PG-13.
Shout out to the base. Shout out to all of y'all.
It's Ali. How you doing, Ali?
I'm good. How are y'all?
We're doing well. What's your question?
Like your arms real quick, man. And I can't wait to run it back. But yeah, all I wanted to do was flex your arms.
All right.
Ali has a very, very nasty agenda going on right now. He is really pushing this run it back narrative, and I rebuke him in the name of whatever you believe in. That's facts.
Shout out to Justin, man.
Shout out to my boy Justin in the back on the P's and Q's. Definitely a new feature. Y'all going to be seeing a lot more with those sound drops going on. I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh, we're getting another call? Oh, apparently we are. But before we get to that, let's go, Jess. What are your expectations for the regular season?
I'm with you. I think more of the same. You know, now when we start getting to the end of the season, though, it's like I don't think of us as the 1 seed like that. I don't know how low. I'm pretty optimistic. I know some people were saying like crazy shit, like, oh, they're barely gonna make the playoffs. I say 4 or 5. I say 4 or 5. You know, I'm thinking of like the Hawks. I'm thinking of some teams that I'm a little worried about and I have high expectations of. As we are right now, and without PJ, I say we drop to 4 or 5.
I mean, we have what? It's the Hawks, the Raptors, the Cavs. I'm probably missing a team, but those 3 teams are going to make. Sure, Milwaukee, but let's remember the Heat were only 4 games up on the 4 seed this last season. So I think with those improvements that those teams made, the Heat are going to be in a dogfight once again.
And a healthy Middleton too. People started doubting them last season, and I'm like, guys, you are missing a key asset here. So
with that, Ant's giving me the signal. We have Gavin on the line. I think it's the Gavin that we know and love. Go ahead, Gavin.
Yo, how you guys doing?
Shout out to Gavin, man. We doing excellent, Gavin. Give your take off, my brother.
All right, man. Kendrick Nunn is better than Tyler Hero. All right, I just wanted to let you guys know.
Gavin, I'm starting to think you don't know ball.
Cut the water. Cut it off.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have to cut your water off, Gavin.
Man,
I'm
sorry
not
it
sure.
took me so long, y'all. Damn.
Yeah, I'm not sure what type of agenda. He needs to definitely leave. I'm not sure what type of agenda Gavin is pushing right now, but we will not be listening to that. Kendrick Nunn, we haven't seen that guy play ball in how long? That guy is he's talking about playing in the Drew League, and he hasn't even played a game for the Lakers yet. Like, what? The math isn't mathing, Gavin. Come on now. That just doesn't make sense.
We cut him off a long time ago, and I think we have another caller. And is that the case? So far, it's been working well, so this would be the time to mess it up. We don't have a caller.
I'm surprised we're not hearing some better takes. I'm a little bit disappointed. But with that, since we're waiting on some more callers, I do want to pivot a little bit, and I kind of want to talk about some names.
Before you do, we also have the signal that Jess has to go, so we're gonna have to say farewell to Jess. We're gonna lose
Adios.
We're gonna lose 50 viewers right now. Yes, you can go. She already told us she had plans. She had a hard out at 7:30. She already went 4 minutes over. So Jess, we appreciate you joining on with us.
I gotta go. Much love, y'all. I'll be on the next one.
All right. But we do have Raul on the phone. So Raul, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Doing great. What's your take, man?
Okay, I have two questions. Mainly for Adam. Adam,
right.
Is there something out there that you know but you cannot say? That's one of them. And the other one is any way we can get Durant without giving Butler and Bam? Is that even possible?
I mean, in terms of the cap, yeah, it's definitely possible. You just need Kevin Durant to really give the signal that he only wants to be traded to Miami. That's the first thing. And two, the other teams that are interested in Kevin Durant have to believe that he's only interested in going to Miami and that he won't be traded anywhere else. So in terms of whether or not it's actually possible, yeah, you can have a lineup of Jimmy, Bam, KD on this roster, but you're not going to get it unless those prerequisites are met. In terms of your first question, I do have things that I can't say, but it's not worth saying at this time. I mean, it's like if I say them, it wouldn't make any sense right now to the common public, just because it's not valuable information at this time. I mean, there's some stuff that I can sort of hint at, like the Tyler Hero thing earlier today, but in terms of like KD or big time moves, there's nothing really that I can share at this time.
Okay, all right. Thank you for answering my question.
Bro, thank you for giving us a call.
We definitely appreciate that call. And since we already was speaking about it, I do want to hint at it, Adam. I'm sorry. I know the people are here and they want to hear those names being chirped. So we got to bring it up. We got to discuss it. KD, Kyrie, is Brooklyn seriously going to hold on to these guys or what, man? What's going on? What's the hold up? Like, I'm confused, bro. I thought they wanted out. Like, What's going on?
No, I mean, they definitely – okay, so there's been a lot of talk over the last week. Are they coming on or are they leaving? Are they staying? Is one of them leaving? Is one of them staying? I know there was a lot of drama about Kyrie. I think the both of them are going to be traded before the start of the season. Again, a lot of talk about KD starting the season. I mean, that's just what Brooklyn wants you to hear. If I were Sean Marks, I would throw it out to every news outlet in the world that I'm not trading KD and Kyrie unless I get the best package possible, one. And two, I'm telling everybody, KD's fine. He's ready to play for us in the fall. We know that he's not the type of player to hold out and sit out like Ben Simmons is. So we know that he's going to be playing with us. And you, the team, are going to be taking the risk that he gets injured. Or if he plays so well as an MVP favorite early on in the season, the price is just going to go up. So that's what the Nets are banking on at the moment. And they're banking against Kevin Durant making it publicly known that, he's not going to do that. He's not going to play. I mean, that he demands to be traded. So the Nets are hoping that he doesn't do that. So the moment that KD and his agency start to speak out, that's when we're going to start to see real movement. And right now, the Heat are trying to convince Kevin Durant to make that publicly known, to really convince him that Miami's his number one, that he only wants to go to Miami. We knew for a while that Phoenix was his number one, but who knows? That may have changed right now or by now.
Yeah, it's the whole situation is definitely interesting. The thing with Kyrie, so I don't know what the Lakers are planning to do with Kyrie. Oh, I mean, not the Lakers. The Nets are planning to do with Kyrie. We're hearing, we hear about the Russell Westbrook swap, but they recently had a meeting. I don't know if that's a true source. I don't know if that's valid, but the Lakers team had a little meeting, and maybe they're trying to save face with Russ, or I don't know what's going on that whole front, but it's definitely interesting to see. I know a lot of people are excited with the thought of Kyrie to the Heat, but if that's even a possibility is left to be seen. I know some people brought up the fact that Mickey Arison took down the pro vaccine on his Twitter page. But if you listen to our spaces yesterday, Harry kind of gave an insight into that about Carnival kind of opening their cruise ship up with some, COVID restrictions or whatever, however that goes. And it might be more related to the Carnival cruise as opposed to Heat, because Mickey, he's about his paper. He's going to be a Carnival guy more than he is a Heat guy. So I think people need to be wary of that. I don't know if it's realistically a possibility that we do even get a Kyrie, even though that's a nice name for us. Speaking of nice names, Adam, there's another guy. I know.
Let's not get to that. I thought you were going somewhere else with this. I thought you were going with this beautiful transition. Ooh. Speaking of beautiful names, let me complete the transition for you. We have Reed on the phone. Reed, you're on.
Before I get into my take, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the basement. Congratulations on the growth once again, especially the guys on right now. Adam, Anthony, Sweat, y'all are goats for real, and I'm wishing you nothing but success in the future.
Thank you.
Now to get my take. I am riding the Caleb Martin agenda this season. I don't know how much of an uptick he's going to get in minutes, but I want to say one thing. I think that three-point percentage is going to go up on a higher volume. If we can get rid of the little hits that he has in his jump shot, I firmly believe that he could become one of the best shooters in the league, even if he's coming off the bench.
Best shooter. Whoa. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. Do you have faith in him as the power forward on this roster? Because he's talking about playing the 4 this season.
Do I have faith? If we could just pick him off a two-way and we developed him just as quick to become one of our premier defensive stoppers during the regular season, I believe that he can do the same. He's going to get bigger, and he's going to have a bigger defensive IQ. I definitely think that he can do it, but that being said, we can't put him at the 4. Like, I don't want him playing 30 minutes a night at the 4. I'm sorry. But something like 25, I'm rocking with that.
I will say this, though, that the whole Caleb Martin at the 4 thing is definitely interesting. We got to be real. If you look at the roster from top to bottom, that is the biggest question mark on the entire team. We do not know what we're going to get. And Caleb Martin kind of has big shoes to fill, because as much as I slandered PJ Tucker towards the end of the season, he was our 3rd best player in the playoffs. And it's going to be difficult for him to replicate that type of success that he had defensively. So it's going to – I'm high on Caleb too. I don't know if I'm as high as Caleb as you. I think he needs to transition into that 3 and D. I think that's where he's going to make a lot of his bread and butter. I don't want him doing too much. There's some times where Caleb gets tunnel vision and he gets locked in. He drives to the basket on a fast break. He doesn't see the guy to the left of him. He doesn't see the guy to the right of him. He goes right at the basket. He throws some bullshit up, and he hopes to get a call. You're not going to get that if you're not one of them ones. You're not going to get that call. So I am definitely interested to see Caleb Martin, if he's going to be the one on this roster to take that leap. But I got to see it. I don't know, my brother. And if he's going to bulk up, we saw Tyler bulk up during the season too. And then we saw him size the fuck down at the end of the season, and his body didn't even hold up. So we got to see how that's going to turn out, man. We definitely appreciate your call. What was your name again? What was his name? Adam, do you know his name? Oh, Reed. Definitely appreciate the shout out. Definitely appreciate you coming on. If there's a final take you want to say before we get you out of here, man, go ahead and say your piece, bro.
That's all I got. Thank y'all so much. Looking forward to being again here soon.
Hey, love, bro, love. Hey, I'm appreciating some of these calls right now. These calls are going a little bit better than what I expected.
And it's working really well. We thought this was going to be horrible for the first show.
Great. I'm bouncing back between 100 places, but I think it's good too, man. I think it's good too.
But while we're waiting on the line is open. Ant's giving me the signal. The line's open, so whoever wants to call, go ahead and call. But before we get on to the next caller, you were saying something. Was it Donovan Mitchell? Was that who you're talking to?
Hey, I'm just a man of the people. I know people want to hear Donovan Mitchell talk, but I don't know if Donovan Mitchell talk is necessarily for the Heat. Is it for the Knicks more so the Heat? And if he is on the Knicks, I mean, what is that going to be looking like out there?
Okay, so what do the Knicks look like if they make this trade? Do you think they're a top 6 seed or a top 5 seed?
Me personally, just because I'm high on Donovan Mitchell, I think they're at the 6. I think they're at that 6 cutoff.
So does Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett. That's a solid 5. I'd say that's pretty solid.
I think that's pretty good on paper.
And we're talking about the Cavs, who were already, almost a playing team. The Hawks, who are going to be better now, much better, now that they have DeJounte Murray. The Raptors started out slow, but then they were right there with the rest of the top 4 seeds in terms of record and win-loss for the rest of the season. Then you have the usual suspects. You have the Sixers, the Heat, the Bucks, and the Celtics. Sixers, Bucks, Heat, Celtics. That's 4 already. I think it's fair to assume they're going to be in. I want to hear that too, Jay. Yes, absolutely. I think it's fair to assume they're going to be in that mix with not the Raptors, but with the Cavs, the Hawks, and the Knicks. Those are the 3 teams that are going to be fighting for the play-in. And for a team fighting in the play-in, I think they're going to have 45 wins, respectively. And teams are just going to be beating up on each other. There won't be a 60-win team in the East this season, I don't think. And the Heat are going to be in trouble if they stick to this roster from October till April. They will probably be in a dogfight where Jimmy has to play every single night, and he has to play like the hero every single night because they didn't improve in ways that we expected them to this offseason. There's still a lot of time. They might end up with Kevin Durant at the 4. But right now, if we're going with this roster, they didn't improve whatsoever. The only improvement they can make is internally. With that being said, we have Danny on the line. Danny, welcome to our first ever call-in show. You're on.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to you guys, man. I love watching your content. I be waiting for like when you drop just to watch y'all every single time, man. My first take I wanted to ask was that if we make a move missing out on Donovan Mitchell and KD, what is the most realistic B plan option? And is that move made before the season starts or at the trade deadline?
Who's this question to, Danny?
To you, Adam.
Okay, so I think Like I said earlier, I think Donovan and KD do get traded. I'm not going to give my prediction on where. Well, I think Donovan is going to the Knicks. KD, on the other hand, I'm not going to give a prediction to because that's such a volatile, change in direction. One day it's the Suns, one day it's the Raptors, one day it's the Heat. I'm not going to give a prediction on that. But for the last week or so, I've been leaning Heat just because the Heat are desperate to get him. But if they're not going to make that seismic move, I think they're going to wait until closer to the trade deadline. That's why they signed guys like Dedmon and Victor Oladipo to not bloated contracts, but contracts we wouldn't expect them to get. And Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, I think, is fair giving him $6 million, but when you add all those contracts up, it leads me to believe that they're going to be making a move mid-season using those players because we know that you can have all the depth in the world, but it doesn't matter come playoff time. I think when playoff time comes, you need 6 or 7 guys, and the Heat recognize that, which is why they gave those guys big contracts so that they can move them in the future. But just to answer it as bluntly as possible, I think they make a move with Duncan at the very least before opening night, and I think they make another move, whether it be with Lowry, Depot, Dedmon, whoever it may be, in the middle of the season before trade deadline. So I would say expect 2 moves, one of them being a star move and one of them being a starter / very good rotational player.
And then I believe he had a second question.
Appreciate y'all for answering my question and keep doing your thing and more blessings to come for y'all.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you,
real.
Danny. No, I think that was his only question. But I think we have time for one more question, and I hear the ringing. We still have kinks we got to work out. The ringing is one of them. We'll figure that out very soon. But before we get on to the last guy, Threat, do you have any thoughts on what I just said?
Not really, honestly. It's I think you spoke on it eloquently. I think you said what needed to be said. Let me see. I'll take Melo at the 4. I think a lot of people would take anything at the 4 at this moment. I think Twitter would take anything at any position, to be honest with you. I saw even a comment that said they'll take UD at the 4 if we were to get one of these superstars. Bro, it doesn't matter what the roster looks like. Just get a guy and fill the rest of that shit out. We'll figure it out later, just like how we did during the Big 3 era. Let me see. We'll definitely figure it out, just like how we did at the Big 3 era. So, real question: when should we expect the Tyler Hero extension? Have we got to that already, Adam?
I mean, it's either going to be either after KD. If KD and Donovan Mitchell both get traded, he's going to sign his extension pretty immediately. If they don't get traded, he's not signing that extension. And the cutoff time or the date is October 18 at 6 p.m., I believe. I could be wrong, but I think it's October 18. So after that point, there will not be any extension for him to sign. You would have to wait until the end of the season. With that being said, I think we have GT on the line.
My boy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, shout out to the basement. I just had a question. So I just don't believe like the Heat would truly win it back. But I just was wondering, would a John Collins trade like hold back anything from like KD say like if the trade talks like go into like the mid-season timeline? Would a John Collins trade like hold any like trade back, like say like if we wanted to get Donovan Mitchell, would it affect it in any ways on like AD? Like in what ways would it affect?
I'm not sure I understand. Are you asking if the Heat do a John Collins trade, does that take them out of like a KD sweepstakes? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, basically, like say like the trade like extends into the mid-season, like no one like gets moved yet, and he just decides to get John Collins just to go into the regular season. Would that owe them any back? Like, would that owe them back from like any mid-season trade?
No, not at all. I think if you do go after a John Collins, let's say you do Duncan and a pick. I'm not gonna go into the specifics of what I think the pick would be, but let's say Duncan and a pick for John Collins. You still have Tyler, Kyle, and then the salaries that you signed in Dedmon, Depot, Caleb, et cetera, to make that midseason trade. So no, not at all. Especially the Kyle Lowry contract. I think it's huge. And I think that if they want to get a superstar or a star player, that's got to be the one that moves. But again, like I said, I appreciate the call and I appreciate everybody who called. We had a few kinks. We're still working on it. This is not the final version of what the caller system is going to look like. But GT, we appreciate you for being our final call of the day. And I think we should be wrapping up over the next 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to, present a question to my guy, and because he didn't really get to speak because my guy was cooking up in the back. Shout out to him. He did a great job. And Justin been cooking up on the producing things and taking the calls. Very underrated. Y'all don't know how hard these guys work prior to the show. So we definitely got to give them their flowers while y'all can still see it and while they can still smell it. But I did want to present a question.
You see these overlays? That's them, not us.
Yeah, you feel me? I did want to present one question to my guy, Ant. And I need to give people who've been following the basement, a question I know they all concerned about. Will Duncan Robinson still be on this motherfucking roster become game one? The people need to know. Are we putting him into the sun or is he still going to be here, bro?
All right. I got to be transparent with you. I was one of the last people on Duncan Island. I'm ashamed to say it because I was the dude that was on Twitter saying, oh, it's only October. Oh, it's only January. Next thing I know, we going to the playoffs. I'm over here at game one. The man hit 7 threes. I'm like, see, I told y'all what I tell you, this and that. Next thing I know, the man missed like 20 of his next 21 threes. I'm over here looking stupid. I do like the long shot, though. I'm going to throw that in there. But I will say the first thing that I said as soon as the season ended is that I truly believe that we saw Duncan Robinson's last game in the Heat jersey. And I actually hate to say it because he actually has watched some of my videos before. It's pretty cool. But that's the first thing I said because, one, the contract is obviously very bad. And when you look at a movable contract that you need to get a whale in here, that's, of course, the first guy that you look at, him and Lowry. Obviously, Lowry has the bigger deal. So if you're going to get a whale like Durant or Mitchell, that's the guy you're going to go with. But if you decide to upgrade to 4, that's not an option. They obviously are very clearly going to upgrade to 4. And I think that's kind of the last domino that will fall if they don't get a whale. And maybe that looks like Harrison Barnes or, one of the other guys along that line. And that's a guy that Sacramento might be interested in, Duncan Robinson, because you can never have too many shooters. I guess I don't know why they'd want him. Typically, contenders want shooters. That's not exactly what Sacramento is. But regardless, if we don't get a whale, he's most likely out the door to get a starting 4. So hate to see him go, but I think it's coming.
All this whale talk, I need the people to know we also need a whale. The basement needs a whale. Please, please, please visit the Basement Sports Network on our website. Subscribe on YouTube, on Twitter. We are looking for sponsors. We're looking to get it out the mud by any means necessary. So please support us, help us out. We need all the help we can get. This is a community for the people. We are the people.
We got to pay these producers, Justin, and we got to pay these people.
Yes, we definitely got to pay the producers. And speaking of producers, get us the hell out of here, Justin. Play the video, Justin.
Peace, y'all.
Oh yeah, we packing somebody up tonight. Hey, come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat packing the air. We about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe. You already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the tray, yes and no, friends and the foes, the butlers and the heroes. You can feel it in your soul. The win, the ring is the goal. But if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing. Like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes. Going hard for the team. Going down.